I was nauseated by the wildly energetic applause. I felt like Hollywood is only gutless en masse. And it truly felt like, goodness, this is a truly obvious sign that we're not the cool club any longer. It resembles gracious you realize. It resembles that is killing me dead things are getting warmed between two of Hollywood's greatest entertainers. And it's all since one accepts the other ventured over the line comic. Jim Carrey has been making us laugh uncontrollably for quite a long time. And of late, he's likewise been doling out a cruel reality to the people who genuinely presumably need to hear it. Turns out Jim doesn't respect Will Smith to such an extent that the new ruler is so tired of his words. There's reports Will Smith is truly undermining lawful activity. Now, before I offer you every one of the subtleties, hit that go-ahead button and buy in so you never pass up any new updates. Things have been turbulent for Will Smith since he bounced up in front of an audience and slapped Chris Rock for poking a fun at his significant other Jada Pinkett Smith. And obviously, everybody has an assessment on the circumstance. Offering Will guidance or chiding him for what he did. There are those showing backing and remaining by the entertainer. And afterward, there are others like humorist Jim Carrey, who have an altogether different take now. For quite a long time, Jim Carrey has managed his gigantic portion of contention and analysis as a comic. There are a lot of individuals who were none excessively dazzled with his work. Recall the Joe Biden pantomime. Definitely that ignites some disdain. And he likewise caused confusion on numerous film sets. Like when he completely embraced his personality for the film Man on the Moon. He drove the casting group far beyond their cute-off points, since he just went full Man on the Moon for quite a long time. Yet we should pay some respect, Carrey. He's a parody veteran, very much like the diverting Chris Rock. As a matter of fact, the two as of late combined efforts to honor the late Sway Saget one more comedic legend. As of late, Jim showed up on CBS Mornings. And as somebody who expresses his genuine thoughts, he bet everything on his sentiments about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Not just that he truly had an issue that remains to be worked out with a crowd at the Oscars. Sincerely, it seems like the whole circumstance was only a lot of garbage to convey. He wouldn't hesitate to dish his contemplations. All in all thing, he said, I was nauseated. I was nauseated by the thunderous applause. I felt like Hollywood is only cowardly en masse. And it truly felt like, gracious, this is a truly obvious sign that we're not the cool club any longer. Jim then, at that point, pursued Will Smith and didn't keep down. He said he was totally sickened by the entire difficulty. As a matter of fact, he's prepared to make it a stride further. He said he's prepared to make a legitimate move. And that equity should be served for what went down. He said, for declared earlier today that I was suing Will for $200 million. Since that video will be there perpetually, it will be universal. You realize that a fraud will keep going seemingly forever. If you have any desire to holler from the crowd and object, or show a dissatisfaction, or express something on Twitter, or anything, you realize you don't reserve the option to stroll up in front of an audience and smack someone in the face. Since they said words dance were stunned, one individual said didn't anticipate beginning the midday by hearing Jim Carrey saying he would sue Will Smith for $200 million, and certain individuals were distraught at an assertion. To one individual said Jim Carrey's maxim, the way in which he would sue Will Smith simply demonstrates he's a troublemaker. Little. He is famously hostile to vax and hostile to science, and is known for his Apple beginning way of behaving. Likewise, wasn't there something about medications and self-destruction of an ex going on a couple of years prior? However, as this dramatization unfurls, it's truly vital to bring up that Jim Carrey doesn't have pessimistic comments about Will Smith. Sure, he was exceptionally reproachful of his activities. Yet he additionally perceived that there may be some seriously happening underneath the surface. Jim said she didn't raise it appeared suddenly on the grounds that Will has something happening inside him that is disappointed. And I hope everything works out for him. I truly do. I don't. You realize I have nothing against Will Smith. He's done incredible things appall over everyone's sparkling second last evening. Jim likewise added how many individuals endeavored to arrive at that spot and to have their second in the sun, and to get their honor for the truly difficult work they did. And it is no mean accomplishment to go through all the stuff you need to go through when you're designated for an Oscar. It's a glove of commitment that you need to do and you realize just it was only a childish second to project a pall over the entire thing. So while Carrey is disparaging of the uncalled hit on Chris Rock, he comprehends that all individuals, even big names, have their very own fights and difficulties, and that incorporates having well-established issues that can cause contention. Harry accepts that Will's activities detracted from the significance of that evening and destroyed what ought to have been an evening of festivity for the vast majority, all with everything taken into account. Carrey had a few pretty admirable sentiments. He got down on Will Smith for the sketchy trick, showed support for Chris Rock, and surprisingly, attempted to give a comprehension to the conduct. It's a blend of getting down on some unacceptable contribution backing and discovering a few reasonableness in the turmoil. Gracious and ensuring individuals knew how he had an outlook on the crowd's response with everything taken into account. It positioned genuinely, yet Will Smith, well, he doesn't precisely concur with Carrey's point of view. Hello, everybody is permitted to have various feelings, particularly in showbiz, yet rumors from far and wide suggest that Smith has an altogether different interpretation of the circumstance, to such an extent that he's contemplating recording a claim for maligning against Jim Carrey. Definitely the daringness, it's there, and it's crazy. First, Smith feels free to convey a slap on live TV, which previously had individuals talking and scrutinizing his activities, and presently, as opposed to taking analysis like an experienced grown-up, he's depending on undermining claims, causing a commotion. Smith ought to sincerely be remembering his good fortune that Chris Rock didn't squeeze charges. Evidently, the LAPD were nearby to assume responsibility for the circumstance too, on the off chance that Rock chose to push ahead with squeezing charges, yet he didn't, and in light of that, Smith is as yet a liberated individual, rather than in the slammer. Yet fans, well, they're still really pissed with Will Smith, and they're likewise not content with Jim Carrey, in light of the fact that in the realm of web-based entertainment, nothing stays concealed. For long-old classics have begun remerging, removing the spotlight from well and sparkling splendidly on Jim Carrey, focusing on a portion of the past episodes and embarrassments that virtual entertainment clients are calling him out for. One occurrence that has been coursing is the supposed rape on Alicia Silverstone at the 1997 MTV Film Grants. Individuals are sharing the clasp and communicating their interests about Carrey's way of behaving during that occasion. Yet that is by all accounts not the only second that is creating a ruckus. There's another clasp getting out, and about that includes Carrey's endeavor to kiss Will Smith at similar honor service. Anyway, Smith rushed to drive Carrey away as he advanced toward the stage to acknowledge his honor. Now these resurfaced clasps have touched off a flood of online conversation, with some marking Carrey as a deceiver for censuring Will Smith's activities, well, clearly captivating with some comparative conduct himself, as these clasps proceed to flow and start a ton of discussion. Web-based entertainment clients are scrutinizing Carrey's consistency and considering him responsible for his quick activities. Some even upheld Will. One fan said Will Smith gets prohibited for a considerable length of time for a tomfoolery slap, yet VIPs like Jim Carrey can compel Alicia Silverstone to kiss him. Adrian Brody can drive Halle Berry to kiss him. Jenny McCarthy can kiss and grab Justin Bieber, and nothing happens to it. Sounds bigot to me. One more, said Jim Carrey, the person who kissed a 19-year-old Alicia Silverstone without her assent. That Jim Carrey, now this one individual, additionally said it's entertaining to watch these popular men with their own fierce chronicles denounce Will Smith. Alex Baldwin, attacked a photographic artist, Jim Carrey, attacked Alicia Silverstone in front of an audience before a great many individuals Kareem used to punch people and his child, endeavored to kill somebody. This one fan even added a gift and said, "I additionally recollect Jim Carrey doing likewise to Alicia Silverstone when she was just 19. However, here he is talking too much about Will Smith, so what do you think? Remark down underneath. And let us know as to whether you like this video. Click the buy-in button and hit the ringer symbol to be quick to see my next video. I post refreshes like this each week, where I reveal the mysteries of your #1 big names. Bless your heart.